Hey there, it's Alex from Remote Work Life. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a good week. This is very much an impromptu podcast episode because I wanted just to highlight an important subject which I'd previously posted via LinkedIn, and that is the subject of burnout. I posted my thoughts and my experiences of burnout and hard work and all those kinds of different things and thoughts following a conversation that I'd had with remote work expert Rowena Hennigan. And in fact, Rowena and I, we only met a couple of weeks ago online, we then went on to record a podcast episode, which I wanted to also highlight as well and give you a heads up about in this show. And I'll obviously let you know when that goes live. But as a prelude to that, I just wanted to really highlight the post that I put on LinkedIn because it's just really important, I thought, anyway. So the conversation that I had with Rowena, because often what I do is when I'm trying to meet new people, especially people within the world of remote work or experts in the world of remote work, I just engage in introductory calls, just like a 10 or 15 minute coffee, I suppose you could say. And it was great meeting Rowena. It was just an instant conversation. It was just, Rowena's the kind of person, when you start talking to her, you just instantly feel comfortable. She's great. She's a great listener. She's very experienced in the work that she does. She's very experienced in the world of remote work. So she's the kind of person as well who has a lot to offer from a professional standpoint. And it was great to be introduced to Rowena. And as I said, since then we've recorded a podcast because I wanted to shine a light as well on the work that she does, the great work that she does, because I believe it can potentially help you, could help your business as well. It can help you as an individual too. So yeah, but it was following that conversation that I then decided to put a post on LinkedIn about, I suppose, how burnout can just essentially creep up on you. So the post, where I'm just having a look at my computer now, it went something like this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I said, burnout, it can creep up on you with little or no warning. I then talked about my conversation that I had with Rowena, where she reminded me of being intentional about self-care. She urged me to be cognizant of how much I'm working, because at that particular point, I was talking to her about the fact that I'm working from home, but also homeschooling the kids. And I think she could just sense that I wasn't really neglecting my self-care. So I could even see the concern on her face. It was, as I said, it was really nice conversation, really good conversation. So she just said, and she was absolutely right, I was neglecting my self-care. I was kind of going down the route of just focusing on work, even though I knew it wasn't the right thing to do. Sometimes we just do it anyway, don't we? We just focus on work. We focus on the things that we need to get done, and we don't shine the light on ourselves and do what we need to do to help ourselves. So as I said, it was a timely conversation. And I said in this LinkedIn post, I have to admit, I've been slacking in that area, especially lately. Yeah, so true. And as I said, I wanted to share that on LinkedIn because maybe you've been experiencing the same thing yourself. Maybe you have just started to work from home, or maybe you've been working from home for years, but now you've got other things on your plate. I mean, as I said, I've got 3 children that I'm also trying to help out with their schoolwork as well. I mean, I've got my wife here as well, and it's great that we've got the support and everything, but it can, as I said, take its toll. So I just wanted to use the conversation as a trigger, the conversation with Rowena as a trigger to remind other people about those dangers of burnout. And I was really happy about the response that the post got because, and I think what made the post was this lovely graphic that I shared as well from designed by Liz Foslian. And this graphic, it says, it's really nice. Go and have a look. I'll put the link to the post in the show notes. But this graphic says, what I thought would make me productive, and it gives like a little pie chart, and it's the pie chart says hard work, and it's basically 100% hard work. That's what I thought would be when I first started working many years ago. I thought that hard work was the root of productivity. I thought that productivity was an outcome of hard work. But this graphic illustrates nicely that what actually does it mean? It means, well, productivity means that you're taking time off. It means that you're getting enough sleep, you're eating healthily, you're having exercise. And obviously hard work is part of it, but it's certainly not 100% of it, as I thought back then all those years ago. So I thought, as I said, to kind of really emphasize the conversation, I posted the graphic alongside the LinkedIn post, and the sentiment, I was really happy with the response and the sentiment that it got. Lots of people have liked the post. Over 400 people, when I'm looking at it now, have liked the post. And according to LinkedIn stats, over 16,000 views have been attributed to this post as well. So, wow, yeah, I mean, originally I just wanted to remind people within my network, and one or two people, hoping that it would be seen by one or two people. But 16,000 views later, I'm really happy. And I just wanted to thank you as well, if you'd contributed in the comments as well, because what you're doing, by doing that, you're also spreading it to your network and reminding people within your network. And I think it's just, as I said, it's a really important subject. So thank you so much for your contribution to that conversation. And we need to have these conversations as well. And I just wanted just to highlight a few things that I am either doing or making more of an effort to do, to really look after my own productivity in this very brief conversation, this very brief podcast episode. So one of the key things to really my own self-care, or at least looking after myself, is really building a support network. So you need a support network, whether that be professional support or support from your friends, support from your family, people who you know you can turn to for support. So there's other people who are different types of people who offer you different kinds of support. So, and it's not all about work. So support may also be just having a chat, having a coffee, or just talking about things that are personal to you. So building that group of people that you can rely on for those kinds of conversations, building that group of people you can rely on for professional conversations is also important. And in that way, you can also get that accountability you need, because it's not just about having conversations, or it's not just about doing stuff. It's about being accountable as well. Because if you've got the accountability, then probably it's less likely that you're going to quit or give up or not do the things that you said you were going to do. So a support network is a very important part for me. And I'm really grateful to have Rowena as part of my network. It was a timely sort of conversation that Rowena and I had. And I'd urge you as well to check Rowena out, because she's an expert in remote work as well, and also well-being for remote workers. And so that's a very rare combination. So I'll leave her link in the show notes. And as I said, I'll let you know when I air that podcast that Rowena and I had. So support network, that's important. Discipline. So discipline is important, having a routine, not letting your work spill over into your personal life or the activities that you do sort of outside of work. So being disciplined about that's really difficult, and it's difficult to manage because, like I said, you've got sort of conflicting responsibilities. You've got probably more responsibilities than you've had in the last few weeks, which include teacher and all that sort of thing, support teacher and IT consultant, network specialist, all those kind of things, when the computers are not doing what they should be doing. So you've got more responsibilities as well as the work responsibilities. But you have to try as much as you possibly can to stay within the sort of time frame that you'd given yourself to do your work, and then you can then split that off from your leisure time and really compartmentalize those different things so they don't spill into each other. Another thing that I try to do is plan stuff and write my plan down, because that can help you with your discipline. So planning what you're going to do. I mean, I use a Google Calendar to literally plan every aspect of my day. And again, as I said, the discipline is what's going to really help me to fulfill that plan. So it's all well and good writing stuff down, but if you don't have that discipline that I mentioned previously, then it's probably not going to work. So have those things that you have to do, but plan out what you're going to do for your day. I'd also say as well is share the plan with people within your household or people within your team or people within your business. I mean, obviously you don't share the ins and outs of your diary, your personal stuff. You could share as much or as little as you like. I mean, what I tend to do is share the sort of different compartments of my work day with colleagues or with my family, so that they know without having to ask me or come into my room what I'm doing at any given time of day. So, and Google Calendar is really good for that, because you can, as I said, you can show as much or as little as you need to show, and you don't need to show the things that are private to you and personal to you. So having that plan is just so important. Right, and within that plan, and it kind of takes me on to my next point, is exercise, having exercise, some form of exercise, stretching for 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening, 30 minutes at night if you can. I mean, I stretch, but I try to stretch 2 or 3 times a day. Doesn't always work out, but I try to anyway. And I mean, I've just allocated that time to do some form of exercise. Going around the block with the kids on lunch, so kind of having lunch at the same time that they have lunch, and going around the block. They have their bikes, for example, or we just go for a walk, or just something, go in the back garden, they go on the trampoline, something just to kind of keep the body moving, because it can start to creak and get really stiff if you're sitting down all day. And when you're at home, the tendency is to actually just sit down because you don't have any prompt. You don't have people sitting next to you and saying to you, "Oh, should we go for lunch?" Or you don't have people going to, you don't have those moments, those where you go to the kitchen, the coffee machine, all that sort of thing, the water cooler moments that you would normally have if you're working in an office. So having some form of exercise and actually specifying what that exercise is important. And obviously you don't want to overexert yourself, but you just want to make sure that you're moving around to avoid the stiffness, the lower back pain, all those kinds of things, just to keep the body moving. What else do we have on my list? So understanding what you like, understanding what you want to do. So it's not just all about work. It's not just all about the things to keep yourself going. When I say understanding things that yourself, it's understanding the kind of things that really, really excite you or really interest you. And that's something that I sort of re-engaged with when I had the conversation with Rowena a couple of weeks ago. So one of the things I really love doing is playing the drums. And I don't want to give too much away, but Rowena gave me some hints as to how I can use my enthusiasm of drumming and incorporate that into activities to do with the kids. And as I said, listen out for that podcast, because that's really an interesting, interesting aspect that I just hadn't thought of. I hadn't thought of it, and Rowena triggered that in my mind. It's something that I do now, and we have a lot of fun with it. So think about the things that you like to do that can just really take your mind away from work and help to build you up as well. In fact, it takes me back to a conversation I had on a previous podcast where where I was talking about just the same thing, or a similar thing, where the guest I had on the show, the way he one of the things that he really enjoyed doing was playing on the PlayStation, and that's how he took himself away from work. That's how he actually got his thoughts going in his mind, and that's really what helped him to really stay productive. And it was also part of his own self-care as well. So you got to really think about things that really, really interest you, really excite you, and really can help to take you away from, ideally help to take you away from the screen as well, because you don't have to consume too much in the way of looking at the screens, because we do enough of that in work. So as I said, the activity that Rowena suggested to me was completely screenless. So it's something that's we're really enjoying right now. What else is on my list as well? sharing your worries, and I think I'm going to wrap up with this one, sharing your worries, sharing your concerns. Don't feel like you're alone. There's always somebody out there to help you. I mean, I'm not an expert in well-being myself and self-care and all these sorts of things, but I know some of the things that work for me. So some of the things that work for me probably wouldn't work for you. So engage in conversations with people to understand what they are doing. Seek out professional help if you need it. And if you want to get in touch with either myself or Rowena, I can refer you to people within my network who may be able to help you if you're having your own worries and concerns. Don't bottle things up. Don't diagnose your own issues, because that can sometimes lead to even more anxiety and more fear on your part. So always just have conversations, because you never know who might be able to help you and who's going through the same things as you. And it may be that you feel as though it's just you going through those issues, or you should really understand and know how to deal with them. That's not necessarily the case. It's sometimes not as obvious, or it's not as easy as it may seem to overcome some of these issues. And having conversations can just really open your mind to different things and different ways of working. And just sometimes in my case, having a conversation, it can be therapeutic in itself. So always have people, and this goes back to the support network, that you can share your worries with, share your concerns with. And if you don't have those people, reach out to people. As I said, you can reach out to me, and I can refer you on to people who can help you with anything that you might be going through right now. So that is really all I wanted to say for this particular episode. All I wanted to say is just look after yourself, really engage in your own self-care. Let me know how you're getting on as well. And I will speak to you in the next episode.